That's BRIXX. Ready? If you've just locked in, you're listening to Sounds of the Future with Emma Rose. And I have the very, very talented BRIXX in the building with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing perfectly fine.
Good. The headphones can get in a bit of a tangle sometimes. But thank you so much. But I'll just push this a little bit further towards you so you can.
Is that all right?
I think that's all good. 1 second. Let me see if I've got you. Speak again. There you go. Oh, I love that. The ad lib. I love it. But let's just go straight in and start with that. That track Ready always gets me moving, and I always put it on at parties and stuff. So how was like the making of that track? Because obviously Toddla T produced that. How did that come about?
Well, Toddla T hit me up in my Instagram DM. He'd been showing support to my music in the form of like commenting underneath my posts and, you know, following me on Instagram and so forth. So he sent me a series of beats on a SoundCloud link, and I picked that one. I kind of decided to write to it. It was like quarantine, first lockdown, so I was thinking like I really want to go outside and having house party conversations with my friends and whatever.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I just can't wait to just pass my keys and my phone and I just want to go outside and whatever. And I was just like, well, yeah, I was looking for concept at the time, which is what I usually do before I start writing, and it's kind of just how it just came together, really.
And were you did you get to go in the studio with Toddla T, or was that all like recorded separately?
It was all recorded separately. I'm very like a homebug when it comes to my recording. I recorded it at one of our local studios.
Yeah.
In Vomit Productions, which is where I usually record. Now,
okay.
I've recently built my own studio as well.
Awesome.
So that's where I'll be recording now.
Is that at home, like a home studio that you?
No, I built a studio in a building. Yeah.
Okay, lit. So there's like a lot of like dancehall influence in your music. So where's your sound stem from? Because you've got such a unique sound. Like where have like all your influences come from?
I think my sound is more unruly more than anything else. Because my mum was born in England and she would prefer that I speak British all the time. My dad was born in Jamaica and he would prefer that I speak patois all the time. And I was born in America, so some of my American friends prefer when I speak with, you know, the American accent so that they can understand me. But I'm just more unruly. I just do whatever I want to do. Do you know what I mean? Usually, sometimes in one sentence, I'll change my accent 3-4 times because it's however I see things fit to be said, should be said, you know.
For sure. Wait, let me see if I can you hear yourself properly?
Yeah, I can hear myself, yeah.
Okay, that's good. But yeah, so like talking about quarantine, obviously you made Ready and things like that. Like how has it been for you as an artist creatively? Have you found it like restrictive, or like how has that been for you?
Basically just in the forms of me mixing and mingling with other artists, it's only really put a restriction on that, if anything else. Creative people tend to spend a lot of time alone anyway, so I found it to be quite a good time for my music to flourish. You know, it grew a lot. It grew a lot, so I managed to write a lot of music. I got a lot of quiet time. Children were at school, so I wasn't dedicated to waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning to do school runs, so I was just writing quite a lot.
Oh, that's so nice. And where do you like find your inspiration from, like when you write?
Sometimes my creative flair stems from hurt, sometimes from irritation, sometimes rather than get mad at people, I just write. You know what I mean? I'm very good at finding an outlet.
Yeah.
You know? Music is my outlet, you know? So this depends. If I'm feeling angry, I might write some drill. If I'm feeling happy today, I might write a poem. I might write a song. I might write something bouncy. It just depends on how I'm feeling. It's my outlet, you know?
So how long have you been doing music for? Like, when did it start for you?
From when I was like 9. From when I was like 9 years old, I've been writing music, singing, and the only difference is that my platform was my house. Yeah. And now I changed it to Instagram, which has stemmed it to everywhere. Yeah. And it's just growing really, and I'm just really quite proud of it, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I just love the music that you've come out with, and like I love your sound as well. So like going back to like it's like when you were 9 years old, you were kind of like singing, like writing poems and things like that. What would you say your influences were when you were growing up? Like what sort of music were you listening to when you were growing up?
I used to listen to a lot of like gospel because I grew up in church. So I listened to a lot of gospel, R&B, rap, and that was when I was like more stateside.
Yeah.
Then when I came here, it was more like of an underground rap, like grime
Mm-hmm.
kind
Oh
of
yeah.
drum and bass,
Yeah.
kind of garage kind of thing.
Okay, so
I
you're
was
into.
like a bass line head.
Oh
at one
yes,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, so like that's why, you know, those beats, when I spit to those beats, it kind of like feed me. You know, like
Yeah.
when you go to a rave and you just like cutting up them shapes.
Yeah.
Bass just feeds, yeah. It's kind of like how it is, really.
So were you into like raving when you were younger? Because you mentioned like drum and bass, like bass line, garage.
Yeah.
What sort of like artists did you listen to from those sort of genres?
It was more the DJs, like DJ EJ,
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Duggan.
Yeah.
Along that kind of field of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can really tell. I feel like, even though I didn't know that, I feel like I can really hear that in the music that you make. That's probably why like I really feel like I resonate with it, because it's like proper bassy sort of music that you make. But I was gonna ask you about so your collaboration with Abigail, like, and just generally like about the scene in the UK at the moment. Like, where do you think that's going, and like how do you think it treats women as well?
Really, I feel like if you find yourself to be in a position where you feel like people aren't helping you or paying attention to you, I don't really feel like it's just because somebody's a woman. I feel like, you know, if a door's closed and you've got to find another way through, it's your persistence. I think it's more as an individual thing rather than a sex thing. You know? And like what was like the collaboration with Abigail?
Bad Girl Bounce.
With that one, it was a verse that I did from my Black Box Freestyle. I really wanted it to be turned into a track. A lot of my fans as well in the comment sections were really highly calling for it to be turned into a track. So I thought to myself, who would be good to go on it? And I thought I would like to work with Abigail, because at the time, you know, it would have been it was a good move to make. You know, we made a good musical relationship as well. So at that point, I contacted her. She came down to Birmingham. We recorded in the studio. We liked the vibe. The arrangement was changed a few times, and then eventually we were happy with the track. That we did visuals. Management created a good treatment. Everybody added their ideas in, and it was all go from there, really.
So who are you like looking to collaborate with in the future, and do you have any collaborations that's coming around this year that you can tell us about?
Well, I do have collaborations that are like already in the pipeline, but I'm kind of really trying to focus on my solo career at the moment. I'm trying to really like let people hear my sound, hear people hear Brixx. You know, because I haven't really had an opportunity at this point other than the few singles that I've dropped. So I might drop a small project at the end of this year.
Exciting. So talking about your sound, and obviously you're from Birmingham, and then I see you've got Bad Brixx from Brum. So where did that name come from, and how did that come about? I love it.
My little bricklayers did that for me, you know. Yeah. I have some little group of friends which consist of a few of my friends' kids.
Yeah.
And they call themselves bricklayers. For myself, my supporters. And first it was just Brixx. It was BRIXX 'XX, which is like an anagram of my name. Brixx just happened with like my team management and sitting down thinking about how we're gonna build the brand and how if we're gonna change anything like my name wise and whatever. And then I think one of the little ones just said, Bad Brixx from Brum, and then I don't actually even remember which one of them it was, but it just stuck from there really, and I like it.
Yeah,
so I just kept it.
So obviously you've had your most recent single come out, the Freestyle, Second Warning Freestyle. So can you tell us a little bit about that? And you've just dropped a music video to that as well.
Yeah.
Can you tell the listeners a little bit about that?
The second one is quite a personal release to myself. That freestyle was recorded so many times, like I perfected it to perfection. The engineer on the mix is from Vomit Productions. His name is Major, and we lost him this year. He was my engineer, and so I really wanted to perfect it before I put it out, so that it's the last project, mixed and mastered by Vomit Productions. So it was very close and personal to me, that one.
Yeah.
And I kind of like I sent a big message in it. There's only one queen of drill,
Yeah.
and the queen is here. And that's what I had to say.
I love that. So we'll be playing that in just a second. But before we get to that, I was just wondering, like, what are your plans for 2021? I guess it's all up in the air at the moment. because of COVID.
Because of COVID, it's up in the air. But one thing that I can guarantee is good music, consistent releases, and, bangers after bangers, status active.
Sick. Awesome. So we'll play a few of your tracks, come back in, and then I'll be playing a bit of music off the system, and then you'll be blessing us with a freestyle, which I'm super gassed about. So guys, stay, hold tight for that. Next up is the Second Warning freestyle by the incredible Brixx herself.
Just get a call from money.
Frisco,
If you talk about
Brixx,
you know excess amount can
Money Cool.
talk about money, we are want it in a bulk.
If you've just locked in, you're listening to Emma Rose, and this is Sounds of the Future. And I have the incredibly talented Brixx with me in the building. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. Too kind.
Thanks for coming on. But yeah, that collaboration with Frisco, Money Cool. Obviously, when I first heard it, I was like surprised, as I was like saying off air, because Frisco's usually like a grime legend.
He's a member of BBK.
Yeah, BBK, exactly. So yeah, for like this kind of like dancehall like infused track, I was like surprised about that. So can you tell us a bit about, like, pleasantly surprised it was lit, but can you tell us a bit about that collaboration?
I think Frisco's been supporting my music on Instagram also as well. And then he messaged me and asked me if he told me that my music's lit, and what I told him, big appreciation. So obviously, member of BBK telling me my music's lit.
Yeah,
crazy.
literally.
So then obviously we spoke. He said if I'd be willing to collaborate. I was like, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he sent me a few tracks, and then I picked one which was more like dancehall infused.
Mm-hmm.
There was a one that was more like kind of drilly.
Mm-hmm.
There was a more dancehall one, and there was a more like fast-paced kind of grimish one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just picked the dancehall inspired one, which is not always my every choice, but I think I was feeling the rhythm, the bass to the rhythm as well, and I could hear myself already as soon as I heard the track. So I thought, I'm definitely running with this.
So with tracks, when you listen to it, do you have to like fully envision yourself on it, or have you sometimes like listened to something where you've been surprised at how it's turned out?
Usually, if I have to force it, I don't really like it.
Yeah.
There's a track at the moment that I'm kind of like fighting with, but I'm sure I'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But usually I can hear myself already. If I hear the beat, I can hear myself on it, even when I'm doing like beat selection, like to try and find a feel of different beats that I'm gonna write to. If I hear the beat and the bass is pumping, and I think it's more the bass, but it's everything about the beat. To be fair, it has to be. I have to feel Brixx vibes coming from it, Then I'll sprinkle Brixx dust all over it.
So if you could like tell the listeners in 5 words, what would you say Brixx Vibes are?
Brixx Vibes. Basically, Brixx Vibes is like, it gives me, I can literally see myself in a position where I can be sitting down for hours and hours with loads of pieces of paper on the floor writing, where I'm getting into my creative mode. Yeah. And it's like, after I finish that, you end up with the Brixx effect. That is exactly what the Brixx vibe is. Like, Brixx vibe is me vibing, pen, paper, speaker, madness, banger at the end of it.
Banger after banger. So if you were to have a superpower, what would it be?
A pen that never runs out of ink.
and you never stop writing with that as well.
Writing. Yeah.
Sick. So we've spoken a lot about writing. So what about performing? You said off air as well that you've got a few performances lined up. Is there anything that you can reveal about that?
Not too much just as yet. I'm gonna be even leaving the country for a few of my performances.
Oh wow!
But there will be a lineup. There will be an Instagram post. Yeah. As management is rather proactive. So yeah, it will be sorted.
So what is your dream venue that you would perform at, and your dream place, like in the whole entire world, for you to perform?
My dream venue to perform would have to be, as I always say, the Grammys. Yes. I am definitely going to win a Grammy.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah. The dream country that I would like to perform in. It's a bit of a sticky one. Yeah, I want to perform in Jamaica. Yeah, because like in Jamaica, there's been a recording artist and being good, but you have to be able to have that crowd control, and to be able to control a Jamaican crowd, you have to have that kind of Brixx effect. Do you know what I mean? Like, so whatever it is that I'm gonna have to give them, I'm coming hard, I'm coming strong, and it needs to happen.
It's gonna happen. And as part of like your journey as an artist, and I do I ask every artist I have on, like, do you manifest? Is there like a kind of like a process of like manifestation for like you to like achieve your goals and like, yeah?
Yeah, I kind of just say things have happened already, and then they just happen. To be
Yeah.
fair. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna drop this freestyle. It's gonna do this. It's gonna do that.
Yeah,
And it just happens.
and it
really.
happens. Speaking
Yeah.
it into existence. Exactly. I love it. I love it. So this next track that we're going to play of yours is on the radar. So this is a drilly one. So can you tell us a bit about this? I love the video that goes with this as well.
This one is the Under Radar Freestyle. It's named the Under Radar Freestyle because we dropped it on an Under Radar platform. But the freestyle itself is called The First Warning, which is the second one that I dropped yesterday or the day before. It's a sequel. It was the first kind of drilly kind of freestyle completely that I dropped.
Yeah.
And it did really well. It did like 100,000 views in like a couple of weeks. And I'm really proud of it.
I think it's lit. So do you want to intro this track for us?
This is Bad Brixx from Brum, and this is my Under Radar freestyle, and it's mad.
Hot.